Cats and Dogs as Powered by Zero Friction. This is an investigation into cats and dogs, a study of structure, motion, effect, and application in a linguistic machine designed by the Zero Friction Machine Company. The device reads, if cats were dogs and dogs were cats, then everything would be the same, as it never was. It is not speculative. It is not decorative. It is an engineered sentence, a machine with defined structure, discernible geometry, and measurable effect. There is no context because none is needed. The sentence does not point outward. It is self-contained. No additional apparatus is required. The machinery is built into the syntax, the clauses, the momentum of the read itself. The device initiates at the first word and completes operation at the final clause. Nothing further is added. Nothing is left hanging. What remains is a trace residue of altered cognition, mild, repeatable, and deliberate. Structure. Begin with the shell. The sentence is composed of two conditional substitutions and a single output clause. If cats were dogs and dogs were cats, then everything would be the same as it never was. This structure mimics balance, but deviates at the point of consequence. At first, the sentence moves like a reversible logic loop. One substitution feeds the next. The order suggests symmetry, but that suggestion is false. The inversion is not symmetrical. The closure does not return to the origin. The device does not resolve. It neutralizes. Motion. The motion of the sentence is rotational, but not circular. It begins with a pair of reversals. Mirrored, yes, but tilted. These reversals act as pivots. The mind attempts to track the exchange. Cat to dog, dog to cat. So far, a closed pattern. Then the release clause. Everything would be the same as it never was. Here, the device executes its turn. The concept of same appears. The reader expects stasis, equilibrium, or affirmation, but instead receives a contradiction wrapped in temporal negation. Same is not anchored to a past. It is declared, but immediately dissolved, as it never was. The result is not paradox. The result is a rupture in perceived temporal alignment. Geometry. Visually, the sentence bends. On paper, it runs left to right. In motion, it spirals inward, hits a null vector at the tail, and drops into silence. It can be imagined as a tunnel with mirrored doors at both ends. The reader enters one door expecting a mirrored exit, but instead falls through a false floor at the center. That floor is the phrase, as it never was. The shape does not close. It folds. Mapping the clause progression reveals torsion, not curvature. The first clause twists the identifiers. The second confirms the twist. The third flattens it with a statement of sameness, then removes the axis that would allow that sameness to stabilize. It is a machine of rotational dismantling. Time. The sentence disrupts time, not time in the clock sense, but the internal model of sequence and origin. The clause, as it never was, removes the concept of an originating state. It does not claim change. It claims false return. This is significant. If sameness is declared but never possessed, then the statement is not describing evolution, memory, or transformation. It is describing displacement without source. The subject is not caught between two states. The subject is trapped in a sameness that has no historical path. It mimics return, but no return ever occurred. The mind, having tracked the substitution, is now suspended. It cannot confirm whether the reversal ever mattered. That is the temporal weapon of the device. It creates a moment where sequence is seen to be false. Linguistic mechanics. Each clause performs a task. If cats were dogs, initiates category transfer, and dogs were cats, locks the switch in both directions. Then everything would be the same, sets expectation. As it never was, severs the expectation from time. The final clause mimics closure but cancels history. The effect is a clean nullification of the imagined outcome. The grammar obeys all surface rules. There is no error, but the logic it carries self-erases. The result is a sentence that deploys fully, leaves no trace of its activation, and leaves the interpreter in a delayed release pause. Field behavior. When spoken, the sentence induces a brief moment of stasis, a delay between processing and conclusion. The listener replays it, not out of misunderstanding, but due to interruption. The mind, expecting resolution, receives absence. Common physical responses include a blink, a pause, a repeat. No questions are asked. The sentence operates in the mind below the threshold of challenge. It is absorbed, not confronted. This is part of its strength. It is unresisted. The zero friction signature is clear. Minimal resistance, maximum disruption. When and where it works. The device functions best in environments governed by hardened binaries, male and female, order and chaos, authority and rebellion, truth and falsehood. By substituting the symbolic placeholders, cats and dogs, for the categories in question, the operator engages in a soft inversion. This inversion is not violent. It does not attack identity. It displaces it. Then, before identity can reform, the final clause removes the ground, sameness that never existed. This phrase clears the field. It does not destroy. It removes context. The result is a moment of exposure. Whoever has heard the device is now standing outside the story. When it does not work, there are conditions under which the device fails to operate, in environments that demand immediate action, in minds that resist mirrored substitution, in conversations where symbolic identity is not yet in play, in those who mistake its inversion for nonsense. In such cases, the device glances off the surface. No harm is done, but the function does not engage. This is not a weakness of the machine. This is a condition of timing. The machine is designed to rotate meaning. It must be used at the correct moment, when inversion is possible, but not yet complete. On energy and field lines, the device does not run on metaphor. It runs on motion. The motion is rotational, not like a wheel, but like a toggle caught mid-flip. This motion creates field tension between poles, dog and cat, A and B. The sentence holds them apart just long enough to show that their opposition was always fabricated. Then it lets go. What's left is silence, not the absence of meaning, but the absence of hierarchy. This device has no loyalty to either pole. Its only loyalty is to the collapse of the frame. Once the frame drops, so does the need for resolution. In that sense, the device is not magnetic. It is demagnetizing. It removes charge from opposites. It de-energizes the circuit on identity and interference. The sentence does not attack identity directly. It reframes it by exchanging placeholders. It is not political. It is not moral. It does not ask permission. It simply reassigns values, affirms the change, then deletes the basis of comparison. What remains is a kind of semantic silence, identity that no longer tracks. This is neither nihilism nor erasure. It is temporary unbinding. The machine releases the mind from the requirement to know which side it stands on. By declaring that reversal leads to a sameness that never existed, it strips the whole game of its scorekeeping. This is not reconciliation. It is departure, technological classification. This is not a joke or a poem or a puzzle. It is a device. Its core functions: inversion of symbolic identity, simulated resolution through sameness, temporal detachment through negated memory, cognitive stasis via loop without history. It activates instantly upon comprehension. It needs no external casing. It is a pure sentence, naked, frictionless, exact. It works once. That is all it needs. Final conditions. The effect is not dramatic. It is subtle. There is no explosion. There is no transformation. The person who hears it walks away unchanged, or so it seems. But later, when asked to describe what happened, they hesitate. There is no memory to attach to. The sentence took them somewhere, but not back. This is the quiet force of the cats and dogs device. It doesn't tell a story. It erases the need for one. It is a silence masquerading as a loop. It is a sameness that never was. It is a device built to be walked through, not held. This is the machine. This is the function. Nothing more.